The race against time with a chilling new prediction.
The window of opportunity is narrowing.
A new hot zone discovered, the first outside China, plus a spike in Europe and the warning for Americans here at home. How health officials are scrambling to get the outbreak under control.
Russian meddling? On the day of the Nevada caucus, Bernie Sanders telling Russia to back off, revealing intelligence officials briefed him about interference.
Did you really think it was just a bad joke?
As Michael Bloomberg answers the call for transparency over non-disclosure agreements, will we hear from the three women who signed them?
Facing charges, a mother's date in court, arrested after the disappearance of her two children, not seen for months.
Can you tell us JJ is safe? That's really all anyone wants to know.
Are we now closer to learning what happened to them?
Breaking overnight, pilots passed. What we're learning about the man at the controls of the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others. The FAA's report as Los Angeles readies its tribute to a legend.
And royal revision, the changes for Harry and Meghan, the word they won't be using when they stop representing the Queen.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning, and we begin here with ominous new signs in the coronavirus story. The World Health Organization now warning that the window to contain the outbreak is quickly closing and that we could soon be looking at a global pandemic.
The virus now spreading to new countries in the Middle East and in northern Italy. Officials are suspending public gatherings and closing schools after 19 new cases were identified.
But the largest cluster of the illness outside of China is in South Korea, where officials are reporting an 8-fold jump in new cases in the past 3 days. Our Dr. Jen Ashton is standing by with analysis, but we start here with ABC's Ian Pannell, who is in Seoul, South Korea. Ian, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Whit. That's right. From a country that's in the grip of a major new outbreak, the Korean Deputy Health Minister saying it has entered a serious new phase, and also the number of cases worldwide has spiked yet again.
This morning, a stark new warning from World Health officials over the new coronavirus known as COVID-19. Experts now saying, though the cases outside China are still few, time to stop it spreading further may be running out.
The window of opportunity is narrowing, so we need to act quickly before it closes completely.
And here in the US, the CDC warning Americans that while COVID-19 isn't spreading, it may.
It's very possible, even likely, that it may eventually happen.
Worldwide, COVID-19 infecting more than 77,000 people as it spreads from the epicenter in Wuhan, China. South Korea this morning confirming more than 400 cases. Health authorities saying 80% of them linked to a single hospital and a church. And in northern Italy, the outbreak today spiking to 19 cases. Authorities there shutting down public spaces, closing businesses, churches and schools in several towns in an effort to slow the virus's spread. And in Iran, Tehran reporting 5 people dying from COVID-19 and 28 total cases.
Now, amid all the bleak news, it is worth reminding people that the rate of infection and death in China appears to have slowed again. And although the numbers here in Korea are high, that's partly because the authorities are so good at testing large numbers of people. But of course, the challenge remains containing the spread. And everywhere you go here, Eva, people are wearing these.
All right, Ian Pannell for us there in Seoul. Let's bring in ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Jennifer Ashton joining us from Boston this morning. Dr. Ashton, so many questions about those cruise ships, how COVID could spread, the decision to bring those passengers back to the U.S. What has to happen to contain this outbreak?
Well, Eva, first, let's talk about, let's say, the decision to quarantine or place these quarantine restrictions in place. It's risk-benefit, right? It's the risk of doing that or quarantining people or restricting their travel and the risk of not doing that versus what proposed benefit there could be. When you talk about trying to contain an outbreak like this, the steps are identify the pathogen, isolate, diagnose and treat. And right now, and from the time that this whole outbreak started just about 6 weeks ago, each of those 4 steps has been very challenging and in some cases, frankly, problematic.
We're hearing these new numbers in other countries. What is your take on that?
I really want to caution people when you hear these numbers. We have to remember those are confirmed cases, different countries using different diagnostic criteria. Rather than the confirmed case count and death count, I think the real question here is the numbers of how many are being tested, how many are infected, how many are symptomatic, and how many are not symptomatic. We can't assess data until we have good data, and right now that's been challenging.
Dr. Jen Ashton, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Dan?
Eva, Jen, thank you. To put things in perspective here, we always try to point out that the flu sickens and kills many more people than the coronavirus, at least at this point. In fact, there is news this morning that flu deaths among children have spiked. The CDC counting 105 flu-related pediatric deaths, the highest number this time of year since 2009. 13 children died from the flu just last week. The CDC says more children are being hospitalized at a higher rate across America. There have been 16,000 flu deaths, 29 million flu illnesses, and 280,000 people hospitalized.
We still have a ways to go before we're out of this flu season as well. Now to the presidential race. Democratic candidates facing their third contest. The Nevada caucuses get underway today with 36 delegates up for grabs in the state. The results could have a major impact. Right now, Pete Buttigieg is leading the delegate count with 23, followed by Bernie Sanders at 21, Elizabeth Warren with 8, Amy Klobuchar with 7, and Joe Biden with 6. ABC's Rachel Scott is in Las Vegas, where new concerns about Russian meddling in the election are getting a lot of attention. Rachel, good morning.
Whit, good morning. Just weeks into an election year and just hours before today's Democratic contest, Senator Bernie Sanders sent a stern warning to Russia to keep out of the 2020 election. With the Democratic primary in full swing, Senator Bernie Sanders making it clear he wants Russia to back off.
We were told that Russia, maybe other countries, are going to get involved in this campaign. And look, here is the message to Russia: stay out of American elections.
The senator revealing he was warned by intelligence officials that Russia was trying to boost his campaign, all in an effort to create mayhem for the Democratic Party and help get President Trump reelected.
And that is the ugliest thing they're doing, is they are trying to cause chaos. They're trying to cause hatred in America. It's an ugly business, and all of us have got to say, sorry, you're not going to do this in this election.
ABC News confirmed top intelligence officials told members of Congress Russia was once again taking steps to interfere in the election to bolster the president's campaign. But President Trump, at a rally in Las Vegas, dismissed it.
The do-nothing Democrats, they said today that Putin wants to be sure that Trump gets elected. Here we go again. Here we go again. Did you see it? A story. Aren't people bored?
Concern over Russia's influence in the 2020 election only growing ahead of the next Democratic contest.
What I'm surprised about is why the intelligence community didn't tell me and other people what's going on here. Vladimir Putin doesn't want me to be the nominee because he knows I know him. He knows I will not take any of his guff.
The candidates making one final push ahead of the Nevada caucuses.
This is the moment in history that we have been called to. The moment to choose courage over fear.
But I'm asking you to help me, to caucus for me.
Pete Buttigieg looking to win over undecided voters who are still sorting out their options.
We don't have to wake up in a world where our only choices are Bernie Sanders or Mike Bloomberg. We can take a different approach, and that's what I'm offering.
And Nevada really has the power to reshuffle this race. Nearly 75,000 people took part of early voting, and this will be the first test of which candidate can appeal to minority voters. Eva?
And we are just hours away from finding out. Rachel Scott, thank you so much. Well, one candidate who's not on the ballot in Nevada making a major reversal. Michael Bloomberg opening the door for some women who have signed non-disclosure agreements to speak publicly about their lawsuits.
This morning, an abrupt about-face for Michael Bloomberg. Under enormous pressure, the former New York City mayor announcing he will release 3 women who filed complaints against him and his company from their non-disclosure agreements. ABC News has reached out to several women involved in complaints against Bloomberg or his company. One of the 3 women was involved in a 1997 lawsuit claiming Bloomberg told her to kill it when she announced she was pregnant.
She thought he would be pleased that she was pregnant. She said that to him, and he said to her, kill it.
Bloomberg settled the case on undisclosed terms. The woman has not commented as to if she will speak out now that she has been released from the NDA. The former New York City mayor pummeled over the issue on the debate stage.
Mr. Mayor, are you willing to release all of those women from those non-disclosure agreements so we can hear their side of the story?
We have a very few non-disclosure agreements.
How many is that?
Let me finish.
How many is that?
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like the joke I told. And let me point. There's agreements between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them.
Several of the women who signed NDAs with Bloomberg's company telling ABC News they are interested in telling their stories but fear possible retribution. Their attorneys say it's unclear if Bloomberg's offer to release the NDAs will extend to their clients. We tried to get answers from Bloomberg after a campaign stop in Salt Lake City, Utah.
How many NDAs did your company sign? Will you release the women if they tell you they want to be released? Did you really think it was just a bad joke?
With another debate set for Tuesday in South Carolina, Elizabeth Warren making it clear this issue wasn't going away, drawing up a contract herself that Bloomberg could use to release the women from these agreements.
All that Mayor Bloomberg has to do is download it, I'll text it, sign it, and then the women or men will be free to speak and tell their own stories.
And Bloomberg now says after a lot of reflecting, he recognizes NDAs promote a culture of silence in the workplace and contribute to a culture of women not feeling safe or supported, announcing that his company would release those 3 women from their agreements to address complaints about comments they said he made. Dan.
Good to see you pushing for answers there, Eva. Thank you very much. A lot of questions this morning. Let's bring in ABC News political director Rick Klein, who's in Washington this morning. Rick, this news about Bloomberg releasing women from their NDAs, is that going to help him make this story go away, or is it just going to amplify it?
Well, this had to be done, Dan. He was torched by his rivals on that debate stage, and with another debate coming up in just a couple of days in South Carolina, he needed to move past this issue and at least have a good answer. I think the big questions from here, do any of these women come forward, get out of these non-disclosure agreements? What do they say? And is this it? The Bloomberg campaign saying there's only 3 people covered under this narrow category of people that say they were offended by something that Bloomberg said, but there are lots of other people that had separation agreements for lots of reasons, so there could be more to the story. Bloomberg, though, just needs to put this in the rearview mirror.
And he's trying to do that. Let's talk about the big political story of this day. The results coming in later today from the caucuses in Nevada. Bloomberg not on the menu there. How pivotal is this state?
Yeah, mark this day down. Not only is it the first day where a diverse swath of voters get to weigh in, it could be the day that Bernie Sanders takes a delegate lead. And I'll tell you, a lot of Democrats that I'm talking to think he may never surrender that lead because of how well positioned he is beyond this. This may be the last chance to blunt the momentum of a candidate that a lot of Democrats think is not the right choice. So there's a sense of, if not panic, at least concern that this could be a day where Bernie Sanders starts to consolidate that delegate lead, and maybe just the other folks in the race may have a harder time being part of the conversation if he's able to romp. He is heavily favored in the polls. There's also, Dan, a lot of concerns about the first caucus since Iowa. That's almost become a dirty word in Democratic circles, and a lot of concern about reporting problems that could follow the debacle a few weeks ago.
Yes, as we've discussed, Iowa was definitely a dumpster fire. But let's talk about Bernie for a second. As you said, this could be another big day for him potentially. What about these reports that the Russians are intervening on his behalf? How big a problem is that for him?
Awkward timing at best, and something that raises questions at worst. Look, a lot of Democrats are worried that Bernie Sanders' nomination could hurt the party, and the idea that Russians may be boosting it in some way is just an awful storyline. Bernie Sanders himself raising the possibility that there may be political motivations behind the timing, and he does not like the fact that this headline is out there. He's had to denounce it strongly and answer questions about why it took so long to reveal this.
Rick Klein, great to have you on the show on a Saturday morning. We really appreciate it. I want to remind everybody, ABC News will have complete coverage of the results in Nevada this evening and on our new streaming channel, ABC News Live, beginning this afternoon. Whit, over to you.
All right, Dan, thanks. A new layer of suspense in the Harvey Weinstein trial. Jury deliberations are set to resume Monday after jurors sent the judge a note suggesting they might be deadlocked on the most serious charges the movie mogul is facing. ABC's Stephanie Ramos joins us with that story. Stephanie, good morning.
Wait, good morning. Both sides on Friday, the defense and prosecution, talked about their next move now that the jury seems to be deadlocked on the most serious charges against Harvey Weinstein. Neither side appears to be willing to accept a partial verdict. The judge sending the jury back to deliberate. After 4 days of deliberation, jurors in the Harvey Weinstein sexual assault trial may be deadlocked, asking the judge on Friday about a partial verdict. In their note, they write, "We, the jury, request to understand if we can be hung on counts 1 and or 3 and unanimous on the other charges." The judge telling the jury if they cannot reach a unanimous decision, they must continue to deliberate. Weinstein, seen walking out of court, is charged with 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, criminal sexual assault, and 2 counts of rape. The jury of 7 men and 5 women are currently at an impasse on the 2 more serious charges of predatory sexual assault. Each carries a maximum penalty of life in prison.
This case has been really problematic from the start. I think the way in which the prosecution charged this case was quite confusing, and you see that in the jury's notes.
Some 80 women have accused Weinstein of sexual misconduct, but this criminal case centers on just 2.
I tried to get him off of me and kept asking him to stop, but it was impossible.
Prosecutors boosting their case with the testimony of 4 more accusers, including Sopranos actress Annabella Sciorra, who accuses Weinstein of raping her in the early 90s. Sciorra's case is too old to prosecute. It exceeds the statute of limitations, but her testimony is essential to the 2 top charges. The jury on Friday had much of her cross-examination testimony reread to them. To convict on predatory sexual assault, jurors have to believe one of Weinstein's 2 main accusers, as well as Sciorra's testimony.
Regardless of what happens in this New York case, he's still facing criminal charges in LA, and those charges stem from 2 completely different incidences, different victims. Frankly, it's a stronger case.
The defense has relentlessly reminded jurors Weinstein's 2 main accusers maintained contact and even had sex with the movie mogul after the alleged incidents. Weinstein has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges and has maintained from the beginning that all sexual relations with any of his accusers was consensual. Now, the jury is back to deliberate on Monday.
So interesting to be reminded of the LA case. So this is a long legal road no matter what happens here.
Oh, absolutely. No matter what happens here, he still faces charges in LA. In that case, from what we've been told there outside the courtroom, that will still take place.
All right, Stephanie, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, switching gears, let's turn over to Rob Marciano and a check of our weather.
What do you think?
You guys are matching.
Pretty good look, right? Yeah.
Twin to win.
Yep. Still holding on to Valentine's Day with the red.
That's right. We couldn't get over it.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well this Saturday. It is a chilly start across the east, and this would cause problems across Raleigh, North Carolina, which saw a couple of inches of snow on Thursday, and temperatures, at least at night, have been well below freezing. So we've seen a lot of black ice and traffic accidents because of that, and some of them bad, with cars spinning off the road and tumbling into ditches. And we have temperatures that are well below freezing this morning. So another black ice winter weather advisory is out for parts of eastern North Carolina. 23 degrees, the wind chill there currently. 18 in Charleston, also 18 in Chicago. But we will see a pretty big bounce beginning today and really accelerating into tomorrow as far as the temperatures go. Into the 50s for Chicago tomorrow. Atlanta also getting close to 60, might hit 60 degrees on Sunday in Raleigh after seeing their 2 inches of snow on Thursday. By the way, that was the first measurable snowfall that they saw in over 430 days. So a little bit of winter for them. And, well, we haven't had much winter in the Northeast. That's a check on what's happening nationally. It's time now for your local forecast.
And a very good morning, meteorologist Brian Vandergraaf around our neighborhood network from Montgomery College up in Rockville, 25-18 down in portions of Fauquier County, St. Stephen Episcopal School, 23 College of Southern Maryland. It is a crisp start out there. Through the afternoon, temperatures will warm nicely, low 50s today, mid 50s tomorrow with a few added clouds coming down the pike. But as we head into early next week, we are getting a little bit more unsettled. Mild in the 50s, but late Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday, some off and on showers followed by cooler and breezy weather to round out next week.
It was actually giving very detailed lessons on how he ties his ties so perfectly every time.
With the dimple. So that you guys can match with your
ties. Well, I got lost after the first 10 minutes of it, but I do admire the work.
He goes dimple-free.
Yeah, I go
dimple-free with his tie.
I would have worn a red tie so I could join the fraternity of nerdy white boys.
You don't own a red tie, Dan.
No, I don't.
I just want to say, it has been trouble since Rob has been in studio.
That is so not true.